Good morning, Year 4. You have the pleasure of my voice twice in one day today for the English and Maths videos. So we are going to continue to look at fractions today, and our anchor task is finding equivalent fractions, and our destination is to add two or more fractions together. And there is an example of some of the vocabulary you may need today. Okay, so what we already know, looking at this flip chart page, fractions which have the same value even though they look different are called equivalent fractions. So you can see clearly that this pizza is split into two equal parts. So our denominator is 2 and one of them is shaded. So this shows 1/2. Similarly, on this side of our flip chart page, we have a circle which is split into 4 equal parts, so our denominator is 4, and 2 of them are shaded, so our numerator is 2. So these fractions are equivalent because they look the same when we've drawn them out using pictures. Okay, here is our word mat, which you may use some of these useful words, and it's also nice to see the fractions pictorially, so you can see quite clearly that a tenth, for example, is smaller than a half, because you'd much rather have half a cake or half a pizza than you would a tenth, because a tenth is smaller. And finally, this is a fractions mat of your expectations for Year 4. So this is what you should be able to do by the end of Year 4 using fractions. So, your anchor task today, you need to pause the video at this point, and I want you to circle the shapes below that are equivalent to 3/4. Okay, so if you don't have this printed out, what you could do is label them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and you could list the shapes that are equivalent to 3/4. So thinking about those equivalent fractions, pausing the video now and having a go. Okay, so shade the model to complete the following calculation. So what we are going to do is you have two shapes here which are split into 10 equal parts. So pictorially you could show me, so using pictures, what 4/10 and 9/10 is. So how many tenths would you shade in this picture and how many in this one, and what would you need to do to find your answer? What happens to the denominator? Has the number of parts we've got in each shape that each shape is split into, has it changed, or does the denominator always remain the same in addition? Pause the video and have a go now. Okay, and the next one then, complete the calculation below. You have two shapes here which are split into ninths. Little bit different because you've got 3 fractions, but you could still show this using these two shapes. So pause the video and show this in your book. And finally, without using pictures, or if you'd like to, you can draw them in your book, fill in the missing numbers. So this calculation here needs to equal the same as this calculation here, and also they both need to add up to this amount here. And similarly with question B, there are 3 parts which all need to equal each other. So if there are gaps in your denominator, think about what those would be, and think about which part you can solve to then help you solve the other parts of that problem. Pause the video now and have a go. Okay, so going back to those few questions that you have worked out, anchor task. Okay, you can see that here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts, and 6 of them are shaded. So the fraction shown is 6/8, and 6/8 is equivalent to 3/4. This shape here shows 2/4, which is not equivalent. And this shape here shows 4/6, which is not equivalent. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them are shaded. So 9/12 is equivalent to 3/4. So that's 1, 2. That's a terrible tick. This one shows 3/4. Oh, is that one equivalent? Definitely. And this one, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8/10. 8/10 is not equivalent. And down the bottom, 2/4. 2/4 are not equivalent, they are less than 3/4. And here, 3, 6, 9, 12. 9/12 is equivalent to 3/4, so we'll give that one a tick. Now what's wrong with this shape here? The parts are not equivalent, so although it shows that 3 parts are shaded and there are 4, they are not equivalent, so this is not showing a fraction. Okay, so there is 1, 2, 3, 4 correct answers there. Okay, for this question here, 4/10 and 9/10, you should have shaded in 4 of these and 9 of these. And therefore you have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13/10. What sort of fraction is this that you have shown? Okay, and the next question, complete the calculation below. You could have shaded in 7, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 4, and 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you can see you've shaded in 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19. So your answer would have been 16/9. For an extra challenge, could you show that as a mixed number, as a mixed fraction? And finally, you know that your denominator has to be 12. So 7 add 9 is 16. So you know your answer is 16. So you can do the inverse to work out this one. 16 taken away 5 is 11. And the last one, we have 11/8 add 12/8, which would be 23/8. Working out the inverse, 23 take away 5 is 18/8. Well done if you got all of those correct. So for silver today, you are completing questions 1 to 3. Remember, you are adding 2 or more fractions today with the same denominator. And for gold, question 4 through to 7. And then for platinum, you have 3 challenge cards to have a go at, using some improper fractions there and some reasoning and problem solving as well. Any questions, please do email through to myself or Miss Gaskell, and we look forward to seeing what you can produce today.